Stop streaming.
Okay.
Now it's moving. Okay, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. I'm Tom Goodwin. This is Michelle Ronquillo.
Hi, everyone.
And the subject today is tribalism. And in the world today, there have been a lot of conflicts in certain parts of the world related to tribes. But tribalism isn't just related to the different tribes that were in Iraq or in different places of the world, but there is sort of like a tribal type energy um, throughout our society. I mean, throughout our world, there are different factions that tend to people always seem to want to be identified or aligned to a tribe, and when it comes to individuals tend to a lot of times lose out. The people that are really unique tend to lose out because of tribal energy, where everybody wants to feel better. They have to find a tribe they can join that'll make them feel better.
I think that when we're talking about this tribalism type of mentality, it loses the spiritual value of independent, like-mindedness that we need to see in today's society. When you join in on a clique or a type of a group that demeans and lessens the individual voice, we start seeing people follow without really thinking through their consequences or spiritual walks, because we rely on this tribal type mentality to think for them.
And I mean, tribalism, being part of a tribe or people with a similar mindset working together is not always negative. But a lot of times, the only reason the tribe exists is because of location, because of birth, or about factors that have nothing to do with a common purpose that is valuable or important. It's more of a way to divide or segregate or
Yes.
or just put you in some kind of category that doesn't necessarily have any rational reason why you should, because of that category, be better than the ones that are outside of that category. So a lot of times you're special because you're in some kind of special category, but the special category isn't something that necessarily served any wonderful purpose in this world, other than that it makes your ego feel. You have a lot of times people say, I don't have an ego, and then they're part of some kind of religious group where the ego gets transferred to the religious group. So my religion or my group is superior, but I don't have an ego. Well, what happened? You gave away your independence to the group. You don't have any individuality. In other words, a healthy ego is all right, but you don't want to have a inflated one. But a lot of times people will say, they'll be mindless followers, and they'll sort of like dismiss the fact that you are an individual, you are responsible for your actions, and you have to have a certain confidence in order to be effective. And if they want to take away your confidence in yourself and put your confidence in some kind of group type thing, they really weaken your effectiveness, and it really doesn't work very well spiritually, because your spirit is an individual thing. You have an individual spirit. There are collective spirits out there, but it starts with the individual spirit that will project its energy out into groups and into the collective in order to make things happen. But the individual is the prime mover, not the group itself.
Exactly. And I think that you need to be mindful of these types of perceptions, because it literally swallows the individual voice. And you start not really understanding how much power you have inside to feel one direction or another. If the group majority feels one, you're kind of swayed into going with the popular vote, which shuts the voices of the unique and possibly leaders of that group, but the ego won't allow the lower type of people that are involved in the group to voice out, because it's the majority rules, and that really becomes hard to a hard pill to swallow, so to speak, because of the supremacy type of attitudes and functions that the group must uphold.
And I mean, there are groups related to occupations where people with certain occupations get together. There are positive groups out there,
Yes.
but the positive groups will have a purpose that will serve its members and will do something in the real world in a practical, reasonable way to make a
Yes.
difference in it. Now,
And everybody will have a voice as well.
and they'll pay attention to individuals, and they won't have they will have a flexibility, the one size fits all, and
Yeah.
and you only can be the group because you have certain characteristics that are just that have nothing to do with rational purposes in the real world. They just, hair color, eye color, who knows what it will be, or where you were born. A lot of times, oh, my sports team, that sort of, I'm the group of people that rally
Yes.
behind my local sports team. And you say, what rational reason does that serve? That's just a pleasure. It doesn't necessarily serve much of a purpose.
So be careful of putting your energies into that and not draining yourself.
I mean, you can be a person that goes to a game and you just go there and you appreciate it, like the talent and the ability and how hard they've developed themselves physically. You can appreciate
Yes.
that without having this type of thing where you go crazy if your team doesn't win or lose. In other words, you say, well, the other team did really well too. This was, this was kind of an interesting event to go to, but you don't get caught up in this blind type loyalty just because you're they're in your location. Like a lot of times with religions, it's a blind loyalty to whatever religion that is in your location, and then you don't understand, appreciate the religions that come from other locations, or even go beyond that and appreciate individually the best spiritual theories that can work for you, and not get caught up in some kind of group mindset that tends to be autocratic or locked in. Meaning you don't want to be into any group that's locked into an ideology that's inflexible and
Right.
unable to improve.
There's been times where we have run into people that won't talk to us or even engage any kind of spiritual perception because of their belief systems wouldn't allow it, or maybe they would feel guilty if they did. So those types of thinking and perceptions need to be let go of, and the openness to whatever is going to work for your spiritual health. Be able to have an open mind and be able to practice and be mindful of these types of groups that lock in and don't let you expand to the highest level of yourself.
Yeah, the expectation of so much loyalty,
Yes.
where they expect you to be loyal to the degree that you're not willing to look beyond it. So, if a lot of these people say, well, somebody like me, who's a spiritual pioneer, don't pay attention to that person. He's not in our group. He's not part of our clique. He doesn't have the right mindset. Don't pay attention to the person that's different, the person that's unique, that may have something wonderful to offer. Don't pay attention to them, because our group already know, it's superior. We know all this stuff already, and we don't need to explore beyond ourselves. We do not need to look beyond the people that we're bonded so heavily with, because we have certain common cultural or whatever characteristics. That's what makes it hard for somebody who's trying to make a difference in this world, trying to bring new spiritual ideas or theories to the world, is that the people are you're not part of our group. You should be part of our group. You don't need you're misguided. You think you can develop something new or something better spiritual. You're misguided. We already got it all together. You're totally misguided. And what I'm saying is the world is misguided because it has all this misguided tribalism that thinks this have superiority over others, and are not willing to explore, further in the direction of
Yeah.
better spiritual theories that serve individuals.
They're
You,
locked
in, a,
into.
in other words, you got to serve individuals spiritually. You can get a group together, and then the group can be dedicated to figuring out the best spiritual theories that'll serve all individuals, not one group that it's loyalty based on location or based on some similar characteristic that have nothing to do with some rational purpose to making this world a better place and utilizing all people from all over to do that.
Yes, and also there is judgment in the world, but critical judgment allows you to let go of the false ego and really understand what it is that you're seeking. But when there is locked judgment, when there's ridicule of things that is unknown because it's unknown, then oh, let's stay away from it because it's not familiar, it's foreign. Those types of perceptions will hurt you because the open-mindedness of allowing all types of perceptions and theories in to try out, to ebb and flow, take what you want and leave the rest, is important for your growth in a spiritual sense, because it allows you to challenge yourself and those break those tribalism type perceptions that will hold you back, because you come in alone and you go out alone. So uniquely as you are, hold on to what makes you stronger spiritually, and be the voice that is going to give you the best outcome.
And if we're going to make a big difference in this world, people have to develop more spiritual autonomy, more ability to develop their own the ability to handle emotions and desires really well.
Yes.
The thing is that a lot of the problems in this world are related to individuals not being able to be in control of their emotions,
Yes.
their feelings, and their desires. And a lot of times tribalism leads to conflict and violence and all kinds of things. And
yes,
what we need is people that don't that first comes their spiritual independence, their ability to handle themselves spiritually, their ability to eat healthy food,
That's
to exercise,
right.
and to train
Have
themselves spiritually to
clarity.
be the best that they can be. And when they are the best that they can be, and they are autonomous individuals, then they can join the groups, and the groups can work together to make things
Yes.
happen in the world. And the group will contain really really mature spiritual individuals that will make the group even more effective, rather than a whole bunch of autonomous, whatever the word is,
Yes.
that just automatically follow whatever the group says. This is what you should do. This is what just have faith. Just follow this party line,
Yes,
and all will be well.
Sometimes in these groups, people literally are just told to do it, and they follow suit, and they don't really know why they're doing it, why they're feeling hatred, why they're fighting. They don't even understand what's going on. They're just being told by their group leaders to do it or feel it, or just have faith and don't question. We're spiritualists. We're literally about asking questions, how to get to the answers, being inquisitive, and not taking somebody's word. We are about actions. Actions speak louder than words. We want examples. We want the experiments to come out and show us the results of the positive ways. So as you are going forward with the healthy concepts of your spiritual sense, you can grab your voice and say, hey, wait, I'm doing this because of why, and literally have your own reasons why you do things in this world.
The spiritual is actually very rational and very reasonable. It's not crazy, insane, or a bunch of nonsense. Meaning, that's why you have to use your rational facilities in order to advance further spiritually. It's not like we have a world when you are in an irrational world, a crazy world, then we'd have irrational, crazy people, and we'd never be able to advance spiritually.
Right.
You need to develop. We need to develop the ability to question, the ability to figure out what would logically work. Have spiritual theories that you can apply very quickly to action, that you don't have to ponder and wonder, what does this exactly mean? What does that exactly mean? And you're trying to figure out what things mean rather than having something that you pretty well have a real good feel what it means, and then you can act immediately on it and you can make a difference. And in a crisis, you don't have time to be pondering and saying, well, what does this mean? How can this help me? You have to have something clear, logical, and reasonable that you can apply right away. And I'm a person of action. That's why I've developed meditative techniques and training. And and that's I'm the type of person that you can question me because I like to give answers. I like to elaborate. The more you question me, the more I can elaborate, go further and further and further. Because I do that all the time. I debate myself all the time. I question myself all the time. I have no problem with that because I think it's a very good thing. That's how your mind becomes very, very capable, very strong.
Yes.
And that's one of the problems in this world is we haven't got the most out of our mental facilities, or faculties, try to get the words correct. That's why the world is so like being held up, is because people aren't capable of using their mind as well as it can, because their body's not healthy enough. They're not well enough. Why? Because they have addictions or desires and think that
numbing devices.
That they're not. In other words, they're not eating in a way that their mind can function at the highest level because their circulation isn't working as well. Their hormones are not working as well. The body and taking care of the body and becoming healthy and exercising and training yourself spiritually makes a big difference in developing your ability to handle the heavy emotions, the stress with heavy emotions. You have to develop yourself physically to handle the stress.
Yeah, and you have to be a leader. You have to stand on your own 2 feet and not be having reactions to other people's reactions. You have to have your own reactions. You have to have your own spiritual sense of clarity, spiritual sense of pushing those limits and boundaries, of understanding where your voice is very important to hear. You matter. Your voice matters. Your health matters. Your clarity, your spiritual know-how, your spiritual essence matter to this world, and don't settle for anything less. Push and take control of your temple, of your desires, of your goals and successes, and literally push through all the way through those tribalism types mentalities and say, no, I'm going to voice out what I feel.
And the science may have a tendency to dismiss the spiritual and think that we're just like animals, we're very instinctual and all, but we don't have to be instinctual. We don't have to be automatically programmed.
Exactly.
We can change our programming. We're human beings that are capable of amazing things spiritually. We may not be doing it yet because we haven't really tried. We really haven't explored the spiritual the way we are capable of. But that's what Positive Vibes is all about. It's about going into a new frontier spiritually and making a difference in a world that really needs a difference made because of all the problems in the technology that we have to actually exaggerate the potential problems, and that require a lot more spiritual maturity, and we can develop a lot better. We can develop an ability to handle our desires, our emotions, and and control our desire to abuse, to be violent. Violence is not. It's usually the solution of people that don't reason things out well enough and don't listen to the other side.
They're very afraid too. There's a lot of, and I think that what's important is self-love. In building any relationship in the spiritual, you need to love yourself. You need to take care of yourself and listen to yourself and know your boundaries for yourself with others. And I hear a lot of people going, oh, I'm lonely. Well, guess what? Love yourself. Be who you are and fill up yourself with the company that you want to set out in the world. So if you are the company that you long for, then it will, law of attraction, come to you. And being in a group or something is not going to fill that loneliness. The only thing that will fill it is self-love and self-attention to what is going on to make your body spiritually happy and healthy, because it is the passion and the emotion that is driving that.
And loneliness itself is just another emotion that one can learn to handle. And the thing, I like to be lonely because it's an appetite. And if I'm lonely, and I focus and meditate and get comfortable with the loneliness, the emptiness that the loneliness will actually draw to me the type of person I need in my life
Exactly.
to make things work better. So it's sort of like you have to have the appetite in order to make things happen in this world, but you don't want the appetite to take control over you and make you do things desperate.
Yeah, no pity parties, no dwelling. It's just not healthy at all.
The appetite, you see, will, if you don't push it and you just get comfortable with the appetite and be glad it's there because it means you're a social being,
yes,
then you will draw the right people with you to you, because you won't be being desperate about it. You don't want emotions and desires to be desperate. You want them to be able to be controlled by reason, and
yes.
so you can direct them in a positive way.
That brings a lot of health to the groups and people that you hang with, because it's a reflection of your spiritual essence reaching out and getting reassurance of your voice, your independence, your statement, and your leadership. So in training, you can understand why and how, and watch out for the pitfalls of tribalism.
And you see, I'm basically a stoic. I'm very ascetic, and I do everything in a very rational, reasonable way. So I'm sort of like, so when I talk about this, I'm talking from experience.
Yes, actions speak louder than words,
and I act
all the time.
And I will demonstrate it any time I'm a person that is into proving,
experiments and actions. That's what it's all about. And when you can show your examples and talk your examples, then you are a part of the spiritual movement that we're looking for, that we're reaching out for. We want you guys to ask questions and grow with us, evolve. Please subscribe and all that good stuff.
Yeah, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. The subject has been tribalism. And a lot of it has to do with how tribalism has a side to it that can make it harder for individuals to be open to spiritual development. And that's what we're all about.
Yes.
Positive Vibes Enterprise is spiritual development. And that's what my lifetime has been dedicated to, an extremely intense degree. And you just get to know me. You'll see how focused and directed I am in this area. You won't find anybody like me. Because there isn't anybody like me. That's just the way it is. And actually, everybody's unique in that way. But some people really push it to the intense degree. We need more people.
And we need leaders, the ones that climb the mountains and push to the extreme, to that way everybody else can pave the way, and take over and explode this world into a new era of spiritual knowledge, passion, and clarity.
Yeah, and I do want people to like challenge themselves and to try to become. I don't mind people getting better than me. I don't mind that. But I've just been alone for so long because it's just like my energy. People stay clear of it, but I think at this point,
the momentum's coming, and here we are. So please subscribe, and thank you for subscribing, and please leave any comments that you have.
Yeah, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. We appreciate you watching, and spread the word. Thank you.